Perfect. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Just a quick reminder to make sure that you are in the right room. So we have English, French and Spanish interpretation. So just to make sure that you're in the right one before we get started. Okay, so over the next half an hour, we'll be hearing stories from local innovators in the Philippines and Jordan on how they are creating sustainable, locally led change. If you have any questions throughout the presentations, we'll have some time at the end. So if you could put them in the chat and then we'll get round to them. And we also have some resources that we'll be putting in the chat if you would like to learn more about the projects or the innovations. So innovation at Start Network. So at Start Network, we believe that a locally driven humanitarian system means doing things differently. And at Start Network, we facilitate and fund projects to use innovation to implement initiatives that place affected communities at the centre. This includes creating processes and products that are driven by human-centred design, supporting locally driven solutions that respond to local demand, and finding solutions that are contextually appropriate and address communities with dignity and that are sustainable. Next slide, please, Alessandra. Thank you. So the project that we're going to be speaking about today is through the Disaster Emergency Preparedness Programme Labs.
Sorry, have I been assigned as an interpreter? I don't think I've been selected. I'm interpreting this session, but I'm
Mark, you will be able to do it now.
No, it's fine, thank you. And we'll also be talking about the scaling grants. So the DEPP Labs ran from 2016 to 2019, and they supported the creation of 4 community-centred innovation labs in disaster-affected countries. These were in Bangladesh, Jordan, Kenya, and the Philippines. So when the DEPP Labs had finished in 2019, 2 years later, in 2021, we conducted follow-up research, which understood the learning journey on how to scale and create sustainability for local innovators. From this, 5 of the local innovators accessed a scaling grant, which combined additional funding and coaching support. The amount of coaching support the innovators received was determined by them, so it did vary across the projects. When planning this session, we were really keen to involve the innovators to hear about their journeys working on the DEPP Labs and the scaling grants. So, like I previously said, we will be hearing from 2 of the 5 innovators who received DEPP Lab funding and the scaling grant funding. First, we'll hear from Ray and Arlene, who worked on the Bottleneck Life Jacket Innovation Project in the Philippines. And then we'll hear from Rasha from Martha Edgy, who has been working on an app to provide accessible learning for deaf people in Jordan. I'm going to stop speaking now and hand you over to Ray and Arlene. So whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
So, good day, everyone. Greetings from the Philippines. We are from Carlos Hilado Memorial State College, now a university. Our project is the Bottleneck Life Jacket, a personal flotation device for every family. Why Bottleneck Life Jacket? Our journey started with a desire to be of help to the community and to the environment. The Philippines is located in the Pacific Ocean and is visited by an average of 20 typhoons every year, and 16 of these make landfall. During typhoons, floods occur, plastics and plastic bottles float and clog waterways. The project lead, an engineering teacher, happened to pass a group of fisher folk fixing their damaged nets. Some old nets were left along the coastline or thrown into the sea, which posed danger to the marine lives. He came up with the idea that plastic bottles could be used as floaters while fish nets as vests. Thus, Bottleneck Life Jacket was conceptualized. A prototype was made and was tested in the sea along a wharf. And it works. It was pursued by teachers and students' quest for an expensive do-it-yourself personal flotation device. An opportunity opened its way for its implementation. In July of 2017, there was a call for a nationwide search for disaster preparedness ideas by 2 class innovation labs. It welcomed ideas to prepare the communities for disasters, disease outbreaks, and armed conflicts in the country. The objective was to find ways that could alleviate the economic, the environmental, and human cost of natural and human-created disasters. The participation of children and youth were considered. The project lead submitted a proposal entitled a BattleNet Life Jacket, a personal protection device for every family. The proposal was shortlisted and chosen for funding to be implemented by CAMSI 2+ Innovation Team. A fixed obligated grant was signed between CAMSI and Plan International representatives, heralding the partnership witnessed by different stakeholders and the recipient partner communities residents. The committee was organized for initial implementation and for identification of community leaders in the project. An identified coastal barangay community, which is high risk to flooding, and a catch basin of garbage from the upstream community. It has 1,911 family with 6,496 people, mostly female, of 4,264 and male of 2,232. The place is Purok Sigay, Catablabaybay, Barangay Zone 3, Talisay City, Negros Occidental. It is located in the Visayas Island of the Philippine Archipelago as partner. Our ambition is for the project is to have a more prepared communities, ensured safety of the family for any water-related calamities in the country using the innovation. Lessen solid waste, empty PET bottles, and plastic litter are utilized and incorporated into the personal flotation device. Create awareness and advocacy on environmental issues. Enable the provision of community alternative livelihood and promote adoption of innovation for animals and tourism activities. The picture showed that the state of our partner community preceding the implementation of the project. Plastic pollution beset the community due to the indiscriminate disposal of plastic waste. Our interventions to attain desired outcomes were the following: orientations on the importance of mangroves, ecological solid waste management, and disaster preparedness. The team, partner community, and other stakeholders led coastal and mangrove growing activity to awaken the awareness of the residents of the barangay on the importance of environment and the coastline as sources of their livelihood. The next slide, please. Community residents initiated cleanup was done constantly which resulted in lesser plastic litter and an increase in the numbers of visiting and feeding migratory birds along the coastline. Next, the project was able to empower women through skills training in sewing, and additional income contributed to increasing preparedness and resiliency. Next slide, please. Trained women served as resource for the production of the BattleNet Life Jacket and were able to use their acquired skill in the production of face masks for faculty, students, and administration of the institution. Personal protective equipments for health workers and seat covers for the president's investiture. Next slide, please. Testing was done and feedbacks from the different stakeholders. Next slide. And experts in the disaster preparedness, such as the Philippine Coast Guard, City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, Philippine Life Saving Society, and 2+ Innovation Labs were solicited for the improvement of the design of the life jacket. Next slide, please. Ladies and gentlemen, in this part of my presentation, please allow me to show you the unique parts and functions of our BattleNet Life Jacket. The simplicity of the design makes it easy to replicate where ordinary people could just prepare. It is provided with basic emergency equipment. Features include holsters in front and back to hold and draw potable bottled water, candies, or chocolates, prolonging the possibility of survival by several days. A flap at the base of the neck for larger plastic bottles, which could serve as floating pillow that the survivor can use to relax and conserve energy until rescue comes. Plastic floats on water, and integrating this solid waste into the project would surely make a slogan, a personal flotation device for every family. This has been presented to the community as a safety device during flooding caused by strong typhoons. It likewise addresses the need for protection devices for pets like dogs and livestock as pigs. Trained men and women were taught how to assemble their life jackets by making their floaters from waste coming from the river and the coastline. These men and women tested the innovation themselves and have proven its effectiveness and usefulness. START Network, next slide, provides financial support and expertise through 2-class innovation labs, provides the venue for campaign, promotion, and advocacy of the innovation through the regional, national, and international innovation fair, opens the opportunity for scaling up fund, connected us to linkages for possible funding. The innovation had several milestones or achievements. It was featured in the national newspaper. Next slide, please. Disaster Emergency Preparedness Program, or the DEPP of START Network and SIDAP. 2-class field guide, innovating with communities for disaster preparedness. A practical guide by community-based organization by Give to Asia. Featured stories highlighted the Battle.net life jacket in local and national Philippines' biggest TV outfit for its promotion, campaign, and advocacy. The innovation is a social enterprise to save lives, generate income, and clear up the coastline. The project is considered a lifeline from floating waste. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray, for that. That was really interesting. Really important impact for the community and the environment. So thank you for sharing your journey with us. I am going to waste no time and introduce you to Rasha at Martha Edu. So please go ahead, Rasha.
Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share with you our story and how our passion began to reshape and to impact the lives of deaf families in Jordan. Our journey began in 2019 in Amman, Jordan, where a team of 5 young and ambitious innovators met for the first time at the DEPP Labs bootcamp. The mission was to research and to come up with a new innovative ideas for improving the educational domain. Immediately, our team began working to create an impact through generous support and massive support provided to us by the DEPP Labs. We were unknowingly establishing the first core notion to what will become Martha Edu. According to this slide, you can see that we learned through the DEPP Labs bootcamp that the first step for any solution is to clearly define the problem. So we went through a process of researching, documenting, and analyzing the data and the ideas one by one to learn how to solve illiteracy among deaf children and communities surrounding them. The experience of working hand in hand with the DEPP Labs motivated us to explore our true potential and create our first educational prototype, especially designed for deaf families, and it was very simple, as you can see in the picture. We worked with deaf children, next slide please, and parents as well to collect their feedback week by week and to measure their progress in learning. Next slide please. We worked with schools, initiatives, and charities, next slide please, and with experts as well in the deaf community in Jordan. So we know that, next slide please, 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents with a little or no experience dealing with deaf people. This causes a huge challenge to their children gaining language, communicating, and learning. And this is one of the main causes why we have high illiteracy rate in community in Jordan and worldwide. So we have 80% of people with hearing disabilities are illiterate according to World Federation of the Deaf. Next slide, please. That's why we created the innovation, which is a combination between flashcards with Arabic Sign Language with the integration of mobile technologies to provide a very interesting and interactive experience in learning. Next slide, please. So our product is about to help families to gain language, and this is an example for it. And this is how it works. Please, can you show the video? So it's about scanning the cards with the mobile application, and it's going to show visuals and educational videos that the deaf children themselves created by us and developing the content with us. Next slide, please. Okay. With the DEPP labs, we learned how to deliver a meaningful value and be a human-centered design, solution-oriented. And the journey was very passionate, and it's changed our lives as well. So according to this picture, it was the last presentation at the DEPP labs. We won our first fund to achieve our first module of the educational solution. Next slide, please. We have been testing our products with the families and directly impacting their lives and improving their communicational skills. Next slide. We included deaf children with developing our educational products. Next, please. And including refugees from different nationalities and backgrounds as well. Next. Our impact was about teach them how to gain language, then improve their communicational skills, and teach them how to learn how to read and how to write gradually. Next, please. So now we have 6 educational levels through the support and this huge journey we had. Next, please. We were inspired to name our social enterprise Martha Edu by researching and coming to know that there is an island called Martha's Vineyard in the United States. Historically, in this island, there was a higher incidence of deafness on the island, about 4%. But hearing loss was not as stigmatized, and almost all the villagers there, both deaf and hearing, shared sign language and could communicate with each other easily. Like the inhabitants of Martha's Vineyard at that time, we at Martha Edu envision a world where there are no communication barriers between deaf and hearing people, and society where deaf people are fully included. Next, please. That's why we expanded our product to United Arab Emirates. We made more connections and partnerships. We won prizes. I guess there's 3 slides before this one. Okay, next, please. Next. 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 Okay. That's why we expanded our project to the United Arab Emirates, and we made more connections and partnerships with the stakeholders, and we won prizes and awards as well, and we started to educate employees in private sectors about deaf culture and spread awareness. Next, please. We spread awareness about how to face social stigma and how to face a lot of challenges of socioeconomic barriers and so many challenges in the community. Next, please. Start Network still supporting us to grow and to reach more people in different locations and camps so we can together achieve more impact. Next, please. And this project is awareness campaign which we collect and share people's visions and stories and opinions and hopes to the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rasha. Really interesting project. I wonder if you could just speak a little about how your innovation works and the link between education in emergencies and how it works with the crisis-affected community.
So our project, it was about to have like a tool, to provide a tool for deaf families that they can build their vocabulary and gain the language in sign language, in Arabic, Jordanian sign language, then to improve their communication skills between the family itself. So we close the gap between the hearing and the deaf members of the family, then learn how to read and how to write gradually through 26 educational levels, which we have now 6 levels, with the integration of mobile technologies, which is QR code and augmented reality technology.
And have you found that this works well with the communities affected by disasters? What kind of, I suppose, prototyping did you do with these communities?
Yes. So we have been testing this product from scratch with people from the camps, refugees from different nationalities, and other Jordanians as well. It was very interesting journey because we were like always collecting their feedback and improve our product time by time. So it was a very interesting but hard journey at the same time, but we learned a lot through this structure to be human-centered design a product. It's very interesting, but it's difficult at the same time.
Great, thank you. Ray, I know that you had already answered the question from Ashraful in the chat, but I just wondered if you wanted to speak any more about it, or Arlene, if you'd like to speak more about it. So what's about the sustainability and scale up for this innovation? How have you been working on that?
Well, as for the innovation and then commercialization, we are now starting the campaign for sustainability. So one of our sustainability scheme actually is to campaign it for the corporate social responsibilities, to sponsor those depressed areas, especially the low-lying areas, that if possible, they could sponsor at least every family to have a BattleNet life jacket. So that's one of our sustainability plan, and more campaign for the local government units to adopt and utilize our innovation. And not only for those communities in the coastal areas, but we are also considering those communities that live along the river system. So it's quite a lot. And for the start, we are actually concentrating here in our city, which actually has a lot of low-lying areas. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. And then I suppose any challenges that you've faced. I know that you worked directly with the community. Wonder whether there were any changes in community perceptions on acting early and preparedness. Yeah, any challenges working with the community?
Actually, during the first session with the community, of course they have this a negative outlook about that. But when they saw that we are very committed and then they actually joined in the part. Actually, it's a quite a participatory approach that we made, and then they were the ones who test the innovation, and when they were able to test it, they were encouraged, and they were actually 100% they were 100% had the commitment also, because they see that our innovation really works. And now they are our partner, and they were now our production team for the assembling and sewing, as well as for the commercialization side. We're also looking for them to be our partner. So they're actually very glad, happy that they were able to have an income. They were able to have time to look for a time that they will have their schedule for the coastal cleanup, and of course also for also they help us in the campaign.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Can I
you.
add something? Can I have something, Abby?
Sorry, yes, in 20 seconds, if you can, we need to wrap up.
So it's we don't have the difficulty in to make it popular, because there are government agencies that help us, especially the TV outfit. So we promoted the project in a TV station, so we people know it immediately.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you to everyone who joined the session, and thank you, Ray, Arlene, Rasha, for joining. A recording will be available, so keep an eye out for that. And if you would like to learn more about innovation, but within the hubs, we have another session at 12:45, which you can join as well. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. It's been really interesting. Thank you.